Alright, welcome back. So, this video's over a couple of days. This was right before I went on my last very short work trip, the beginning of the week. And the first almost half of this is just machine countersinking holes, so it's all sped up. But I figured I'd include some of the pain of what it takes to go through to get all of these done, because there are hundreds and hundreds of these holes. I'm happy to say that they are all done now. So right now I am working on the number 40 holes for the rivets that are going to hold the nut plates in. And they are a slightly different depth than what the rest of them are going to be, so I'm doing them separately. These are going to be just for flush rivets. The ones for the skin have to be able to hold a dimple from the skin, so they're going to be slightly deeper. So that's why I'm doing these in two different passes. Anyhow, really happy with the drill press setup. That worked out well on the bench. Made this a fairly easy one-person operation. Now I'm getting the machine countersink set up for the different depth. You see me testing it right there. These have to be slightly deeper. This is for the dimples for the skin. And just like all the other ones, I have a skin coupon that I'm testing that out with until I'm happy. And then every so many, I'm testing it again. So if you stick around to the end of this, this will go on to priming and actually riveting in those nut plates. There you can see me getting to the end of the number 40 holes on the spar. The spar gets a little tricky for one person to handle down at that end. I'm holding onto it pretty tightly with my right hand there to keep it upright. Okay, and this is after I got back from the trip, so this is yesterday morning. I did a little bit of work on it in the morning, then I had a training flight scheduled I went and did, and then came back and finished the work. I'm also happy to say there was a news update there. I got my recommend to do my check ride, so it looks like I might possibly have a chance at getting my pilot's license before I finish building this plane. That would be super. So now I'm doing those number 6 holes for the nut plates that are holding on the inspection panels. Those were the last ones I think I had to do. And this is just the close-up of the number 40 holes on the other side of the spar. Again, drill press made really quick work of this. Like I said in the previous video, I thought this was going to be a problem. Final drilling those holes and then lining it up with the skin later. Usually you'd want to hang the skin on it, final drill it all as one assembly, and then dimple it. But on the other wing, it worked out just fine. So I'm doing it this way because it is far simpler to do this on the bench. One last wide shot. What you don't see is right below the camera, I actually attached a vertical piece of wood to the end of the bench just to help me guide and keep the spar upright when it was far down at that end. Made it a lot easier not having another set of hands. But that's about it. I'm going to cut this so you don't have to watch every last bit of machine countersinking holes. Now I'm throwing some more tape down because I'm going to shoot some self-etching primer on there just to protect what I just uncovered from the the Aladyne finish there. And this thing is too long to take outside and try and set up on my little makeshift spray bench. So taped it up, throw on the respirator, and just spray the edge right here on my workbench. Let that dry, go fly, come back later. So now I am digging the nut plates out. Making sure I get the right rivets for it. And then the first couple attempts you see me doing here is just me getting the squeezer set up with the right flat set so that I get a proper squeeze. That first one squeezed a little too much. It was okay, but it was still a little too much in my opinion. So I backed it off just a little bit, and I got a much happier result. And in case you hadn't seen it on the other videos, the way you measure them is there's a gauge to measure the diameter of the manufactured head of the rivet to make sure it is wide enough for what the rivet is, and then there's a height gauge to make sure you didn't squeeze it so flat that it's too thin. And they're really hard to measure on nut plates, by the way. Nut plates are also pretty hard to squeeze because you got to be careful not to damage the actual nut part of the nut plate. So yeah, now it's just put all the number 8 nut plates on. Those are the ones that are going to hold on the fuel tanks later. I'm putting one Cleco in each one, and then I'm going to use a Cleco right there to line them up and make sure the other hole is lined up. It is really easy when you're looking down on it to have that ear too high and stick the rivet underneath it and make it look like it went through without actually looking at it head on. Don't ask how I know. But I didn't want to have to drill any of these out for a stupid reason like that. So I made sure they were all absolutely right. Put rivets in each of the holes for the one side there. And then go along and start squeezing them. Quick visit from the wife. And now if those are all set, pull the Clecos out, do the same thing again for the other side. Well, other side of the nut plate. Every time you see me pause there, I'm just letting the air compressor catch up. And now it's the number 6 nut plates for the inspection covers. These first ones, you see me stick a Cleco clamp on there because I didn't like that they weren't sitting very flush. Didn't have enough pulling force with just the one Cleco, but then I decided that it was working well enough. The rivet was squeezing them down. So I'm just going to go through and get all of those set. And then by the time you watch this, I'll have finished this other side of the spar this morning, and I'll get some video moving on to the tie down for this side. I think that's what's next. throw some pictures up here at the end, give you an idea what the finished product looks like. And thanks for stopping by. I will see you all on the next one.